Alright everyone, my name is Jonathan Goswick. I am the instructor at OSU IT Viscom, and today I'm going to be going over how to set up a ZBrush tiling plane to sculpt on. This is the quickest method I could find compared to others, so we're just going to fly through this, and you guys can replicate it and have your own tiling texture. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to size this guy up, and I'm going to make the number of edges match the grid number, because we're going to use the grid as sort of our measuring template. So I'll change this to 24, whoops, 24. There we go. And now it matches our grid. And now I'm going to go into the polyplane and adjust subdivision's width and height until it matches our grid. So 24 by 24. Alright. So this is going to be our baking plane. The next thing we need to do is set up our sculpting plane. So I'm just going to hit Control D to duplicate, and I'm going to move it up. And I'm going to go ahead and just do the frame real quick. So I'll hit Control D again, move that guy up. And now I'm ready to set up the frame. All I have to do for the frame is select the edges, extrude out. Something like that'll be fine, and it doesn't matter if there's this little bit of curve. We're looking at the inside, not necessarily outside, so I'll select these faces, and it should select in a loop. And it did. So now I just extrude up. Just like that. And then I'm going to hit Shift, Grow Selection, and then hold down Shift and delete the inside. Okay, now I've got my frame. And the next thing I want to do is, what I've seen normally is duplicating faces and moving them around and then reconstructing the grid, but that takes a little bit too long. So I'm going to show you this method that I use. So I'm going to go to the top view, I'm going to hit F, okay? And now what I want to do is, since I'm sort of lined up with the grid, I'm just going to scale this guy until it's about 4 squares out from my bake plane. Now, in order for this to work, we actually need to switch planes, because our original is down here. It has the inputs for polyplane, and our duplicated one is here, and it has no inputs for plane shape. So all I'm going to do is just move this guy down, and I'm going to just probably hold down X, make sure he snaps to the grid, hold down Shift, select the inverse, pull him back up. Alright, and now we've got our polyplane 1 with inputs. So I'm going to go back into my top view, and I'm going to scale this guy up until he's 4 up. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, and that is scale at 32. Okay, and now what I want to do is I want to go to my wireframe, and now you can see that our alignment is off. We need to increase the number of our subdivisions to match the number of subdivisions on our polyplane so it wraps correctly. It looks like I'm only going 3 out, which is cool. So I'm just going to increase those until it matches. Alright, so 32 by 32. Okay, and so now I know these faces, alright, right here, are the ones that are going to be baking down. Ah, it did go 4 out, perfect. Alright, so now all I have to do is go into my UV editor, set it up, and I'm good to go. So I go to UV and UV editor. Now this is a part where it gets, less accurate as compared to other workflows, but you save time, but you lose a couple things. So I'm just going to scale this guy up until he is 4 out. Alright, and I'm visually lining this up. So I just need to make sure real quick. I'm going to select these faces right here. And I'm going to go into my top view. Again. Still in wireframe. And yep, this lines up. Alright, so now I need to take the UV edges that are the border edges and just make sure that they're snapped correctly to the UV plane. Alright, so I'm going to right click, go to UV. I'm going to select all these guys, hit W, hold down X, and just make sure that they snap. Alright, do the same for the bottom, select these guys, hold down X, and make sure they snap to the bottom. Now select the guys on the left, hold down X, make sure they snap to the side, same for the right side. Hold down X, and snap right there. Alright, so that sets up a ZBrush texture tiling plane right there. We're already done. And the next step is actually going into ZBrush and importing all of these pieces, and we're ready to sculpt. So thanks for watching, and the next video will be in ZBrush.